Okay, so keeping with the theme of flams, which I've covered in my last two videos, and you can go back and check those out on flam control. Right now we're going to get into some of my favorite flam ideas that you can apply to grooves on the drum set. So right now we're going to talk about what you could call a paradiddle with a flam on the diddles. Now, you could also think of these as the single flammed mill, but starting in a different place. So the single flammed mill would be this. But we would be taking the single flam mill and starting that on the and. So you'd be starting on a single stroke and then playing those flam diddles on the and now. So just to cover that again, here is what we're talking about, the choo-choo or the paradiddle with the flams on the diddles. I want to thank you for tuning in to watch this lesson, but a lot of the people who watch my lessons are not yet subscribed to the channel, so please take a minute to subscribe to the channel so that I can keep bringing you lessons like this. Now, what is so hip about this rudiment is the rhythms that each hand spells out. So the right hand is spelling out this rhythm. And then when you put in the left hand is spelling out this rhythm. Now, David Garibaldi uses this as the basis for what he calls the King Kong beat. And when he does this, and when any of us do this on a drum set, and you're splitting up the hands in between different voices, you want to play these flams as double stops, not as flams anymore. So right now, I'm going to put my right hand over here on the counter. I'm going to put on the killer rubber tips that Vic Firth make. This is a great practice tool. So I'm going to put that over here and pretend like I'm playing the hi-hat, and then I'm going to pretend like my left hand is playing the snare. So that is super hip and useful. It sounds great when the right hand is on the hi-hat. Also sounds great if you move the right hand to the bell of the ride, or what I particularly like to do is move that right hand over to the cowbell. Hey, Stanton Moore here, and I'm super excited to tell you about my Endless Possibilities ebook. This ebook is all of my favorite rudimental drumming vocabulary in one place, reduced down to one surface. This is the vocabulary that I've compiled over many years of studying Philly Joe Jones, Steve Gadd, Elvin Jones, and many other great drummers. If you have even a basic grasp of the rudiments, you'll be able to play most of the material in this ebook. And I've written every example and every measure so that it'll work in jazz, rock, and funk contexts. You can keep searching forever to try to figure out creative ways to apply the rudiments to the kit, or you can dig into the Endless Possibilities ebook, which is a skeleton key that will unlock the mysteries of how to apply rudiments to the drum set. Take advantage of this special offer to start discovering the endless possibilities of how to apply the rudimental knowledge that you already know how to play. I can't wait to see the ideas that you come up with. Now, the way that I utilize this flam idea the most is that I will lead with the left hand, and then I'll put my left hand over here on my pandero to the left of the hi-hat, or cowbell, or mini timbales. Keep in mind that the left side of the drum set is often overlooked by a lot of drummers. This is free real estate oftentimes. When we think about adding voices to the drum kit, a lot of people think about adding things that are over here to the right of the hi-hat. But keep in mind that you have all this area over here to the left of the hi-hat, and barely very many people ever use this. So you can totally add all kinds of different stuff, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can just put a TV tray over here and put mixing bowls or Pyrex dishes or cast iron skillets, or just put a towel down, and you can put a cowbell that you've got, and you can just try and experiment. But right now I'm going to play this idea that we just covered, paradiddles with flams on the diddles, or choo-choos as you could call them. We're going to play these leading with the left hand, and I'm going to move my left hand over here with this rubber tip on the tip of the stick, and I'm going to let you hear what that sounds like as I play on the pad. Now, to let you hear what this really sounds like, I'm going to now play with the back of the stick on the countertop so that you can really hear the rhythm that is being spelled out in this left hand. So now notice that that rhythm being spelled out with the left hand is what the Cubans call the cinquillo, and they call it that because there are 5 notes there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not how we count it over here in Western culture, but that is how they refer to it in Cuban culture. They refer to it as the cinquillo, which means a grouping of 5, but not as a grouping of 5 evenly, but it's 5 notes, and that's what they call it in Cuban music and culture. And it is that rhythm, cha 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 ba cha ta 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 ba 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 bum boom. And you hear that rhythm all the time in New Orleans, especially in the Mardi Gras Indian music. So now what is especially hip is let's take that idea, and I'm going to start it with the right, okay? And I'm going to play over here on the countertop, and you're going to hear that rhythm spelled out in the right. Now, if I start it with the left over here, you get that same rhythm now played with the left hand if you start with the left. So that just means that you can have all these instruments over here on your left. And for me personally, I have the pandero, some cowbells, some mini timbales, maybe some other stuff occasionally. I mean, you could put an SPDS or any kind of electric pads over here that could sample any myriad of different sounds that you would put into the pad. But by just taking this simple idea of paradiddles with flams on the diddles, you can get that rhythm over here in the right, of course, on anything that you have over here to the right of your snare drum. But keep in mind, you're starting that same idea with the left, you get the same rhythm over here on the left. So by adding those flams to the diddles, you get that cha 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 boom spelled out in the right hand. But then you're playing that same rhythm started in a different place in the left. So if you start it with the left hand, then you get that same rhythm over here, but with the left hand. This idea is contained within my rudimental PDF, Endless Possibilities, which just spells out a lot of the rudimental ideas that I have found useful to be applied to the kit. So if you're digging this, please check out Endless Possibilities. There's a special rate on it now. So just click that link below in the description and you can take advantage of that special rate on Endless Possibilities. So let me take this and slow it down for you right now and just play it for a little bit in case you want to play this with me. And I'm going to show you what this is a little bit slower. Now just keep in mind when you are practicing this on a single surface, whether it's on the pad or the snare or with your rubber tips on the countertop, you want to play these as flams. But once you start applying this to the drum set and you start moving your hands to other voices, so say you're staying on the snare here and putting the right hand on the hi-hat, then you want to play these things as double stops. So again, just to kind of refresh on that, I'm going to put my rubber tip on my right stick and pretend like I'm playing the hi-hat. So same thing goes with wherever you're putting the hands. If you're putting stuff over here on the left and starting with the left, or if you're moving the hand over here to the right and playing voices over here, you just want to keep in mind that when you're spreading it around the kit, play things as double stops. All right, I hope that you found this lesson useful and that you got some creative ideas on how you can apply this very simple and straightforward rudimental idea in a groove situation on the drum set. I want to thank you for tuning in. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm coming out with future lessons. So until next time, I'll see you down the line. Yes, indeed.